Welcome to my channel briefing on Bravo. Cruz is shedding new light on the below-deck sailing yacht Season 5 charter season. The stew has had to deal with difficult charter guests to some slight clashes with her fellow stew, Dani Warren, and she has almost no regrets from her time on Parsifal. Deanna appeared on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen alongside Dani on Monday, January 6, where she talked about the one mistake she regrets from the season after being asked about a moment that haunts her. "I would maybe just do the cocktail teaching class or something," she said, as seen in the video above. "Oh, you would have taken a class to make cocktails?" Andy Cohen wondered, to which Diana responded, "Yeah, the one class Daisy Kelliter set up. It wasn't worth the drama of missing it." What happened during Daisy Kelliter's cocktail making class? Daisy set up a bartending class for Dani and Diana to make drinks for the crew during BGSY Season 5, Episode 4 to get more than familiar with bartending. But Diana quit the class, leaving Dani to make the drinks alone. Daisy was not pleased with this. "You left Dani to do them on your own. You're doing them next time," Daisy told her. Dani was just as confused by Diana's behavior. "Diana definitely needs to be at this cocktail-making class more than I do," she said during a confessional. "So I don't understand why she's just packed up and walked away." Deanna later explained that she was simply just frustrated about having to work between charters. "I don't mind doing one," she explained on the sun deck. "But why do I have to work? Yeah, that was very dumb." Cruz and Dani Warren reveal where they stand with Daisy Kelliter today. During their appearance on WWHL on January 6, Andy asked them if they would work with Daisy again in the future. "No," Deanna answered immediately before elaborating on why she would never work with Daisy again. "She's all over the place. I'm sorry, but it's the truth," she said. "She's unfocused, she's always on her phone, basically. And for me, my peace is just way more important than that." "If I had to," Dani said. "A job is a job. Yeah, for me, a job's a job. I really don't care. Like, I know how to deal with it, so it's all good." The gleaming hull of the Parsifal II sliced through the aquamarine waters of the Mediterranean, a picture-perfect backdrop for the luxurious escapades of the below-deck sailing yacht crew. But beneath the sparkling waves and serene sky, tension simmered among the crew members. Cruz, the enigmatic stew with a sharp wit, had become a lightning rod for drama, with conflicts brewing both above deck and below. Diana's tenure on Parsifal II had been anything but smooth sailing. She had taken the role with high hopes of adventure and personal growth, but the reality of the job was a cocktail of grueling work, demanding guests, and clashing personalities. Among those personalities was Dani Warren, her fellow stew, and an eternal optimist who seemed to take the chaos of charter life in stride. Their dynamic oscillated between camaraderie and quiet competition, but a recent incident had pushed the needle closer to outright conflict. The cocktail catastrophe. It all started with a seemingly innocuous bartending class, organized by Chief Stew Daisy Kelliter. Daisy, ever the planner, had decided it was time for Deanna and Dani to polish their bartending skills to better serve the high-paying guests. The class, she insisted, would be fun and educational. For Deanna, however, it was anything but. "I'm not here to be a mixologist," Diana had muttered under her breath as she reluctantly joined Dani on the sun deck, where the makeshift bar was set up. The Mediterranean breeze did little to soothe her fraying nerves. Daisy demonstrated a few cocktail techniques with her usual charm, but Diana's patience wore thin as the lesson dragged on. She could feel the weight of the next charter looming over her, the constant demands of the job pressing down like an anchor. "Are we done yet?" Deanna asked after making one mediocre mojito. Daisy's smile faltered. "Not quite, Diana. This is for the team, remember?" But Diana had already decided she'd had enough. With a terse, "I'm out," she walked away, leaving Danny to muddle mint leaves and shake cocktails solo. Fallout on the sun deck. Daisy was not one to let such behavior slide. Later that evening, she cornered Diana on the sun deck. "You left Danny hanging out to dry today," Daisy said, her tone firm but measured. "This isn't just about making drinks, it's about teamwork." Diana, arms crossed, met Daisy's gaze with a defiant stare. "I don't mind helping out, Daisy, but I'm not here to learn bartending. I'm here to steward. There's a difference." "That attitude isn't going to get you far on this boat," Daisy replied. "Next time, you're doing the class." Confessional reflections. Danny, meanwhile, shared her confusion and frustration during a confessional. "Diana definitely needs that cocktail-making class more than I do," she said, her voice tinged with exasperation. "I just don't get why she bailed. We're all in this together, right?" Diana had her own confessional moment, where she admitted to feeling overwhelmed. "Honestly, I was just frustrated. The idea of doing extra work between charters felt ridiculous to me at the time. But yeah, looking back, maybe it wasn't my finest moment." Tensions and truths. As the season progressed, Diana's relationship with Daisy grew increasingly strained. Daisy's hands-on leadership style clashed with Diana's independent streak, and small grievances snowballed into open hostility. Danny found herself caught in the middle, often playing peacemaker but secretly resenting the drama. The tension came to a head during a particularly demanding charter. The guests were high maintenance, requesting everything from themed dinners to surprise excursions, leaving the crew stretched thin. Diana's frustration bubbled over during dinner service when Daisy criticized her plating. "Do you want to do it yourself, Daisy?" Diana snapped, slamming down a plate. "Because clearly nothing I do is good enough for you." Daisy's face flushed. "That's not what I said, Diana. But if you can't handle constructive criticism—" "Enough!" Captain Glenn's voice cut through the argument like a whip. "Both of you to my office, now!" Bridging the divide. The meeting with Captain Glenn was tense but productive. He reminded both women of the importance of professionalism and teamwork. "You don't have to like each other," he said, "but you do have to work together. Figure it out." Later that night, Diana found herself on the bow, staring out at the endless horizon. She didn't hear Danny approach until she spoke. "Tough day, huh?" Diana sighed. "That's putting it mildly." Danny leaned on the railing beside her. "You know, we all have our moments. But maybe you should cut Daisy some slack. She's trying, even if her way of doing things isn't your favorite." Diana looked at Danny, surprised by her candor. "And what about me? Do you think I'm just being difficult?" "I think you're passionate," Danny said carefully. "But sometimes passion can come across as stubbornness." Diana laughed to spite herself. "Fair point." New horizons. By the end of the season, Diana and Daisy had reached a tentative truce. They weren't best friends, but they had learned to respect each other's strengths. Diana even admitted during her exit interview that she had grown from the experience. "There were definitely moments I'm not proud of," she said. "But at the end of the day, I've learned a lot about myself and about working with others." As for Danny, she reflected on the season with her usual optimism. Every charter is a learning experience. You meet new people, face new challenges, and sometimes you even come out stronger. The Parsifal Ioi docked for the final time that season, its crew disembarking with mixed emotions. For Diana Cruz, the journey had been a turbulent one, but it was also a chapter she would never forget. Come back to Briefing on Bravo and see more news.